Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Fourth and Forever, brought to you by Round Table Sports. I have a great show for you today. As we know, guys, we are so damn close to the NFL draft. It's just days away, and Richie actually is flying there as we speak. Same thing with Troy, same thing with Bass from the network as well. I'm just so excited to finally have answers once the draft concludes on Saturday evening. Colby, how you doing? And thank you so much for filling in once again.
Man, every time I feel like it's an emotional, thanks for having me on, guys, man. I can't wait to be on down the line. I know that Richie or one of you is going to text me a few days later and be like, hey, can you fill in? But like I said, that's why it's not fourth and forever, baby. It's third and sometimes. Third and sometimes. We're back.
It is third and sometimes when Colby ultimately ends up filling in when we need him to most. TD, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I got a pack. I'm supposed to leave at like 3 a.m. So I still got to. No,
3 a.m.?
Dude,
you know
what,
I gotta
man?
leave.
Like, I gotta leave my house at like 2 a.m. My flight leaves actually at 5. I never knew flights leave at 5. I'm used to 6:30.
Oh, they do. Yeah, like they do. Like, so honestly, as long as I have known you, like you have always like left for the airport at an absurd time, right? Like just like looking back at some of our like Jets trips. Same thing with the Super Bowl. Like I always hear TD
Early
saying,
morning.
all right, man, listen, I got to dip out of here at 1:45 a.m. to get to the airport. I'm typically that guy too, surprisingly enough. Like my flight could be leaving at like 9 a.m. But for some odd reason, I'm always at the airport like 4 hours early.
Wow.
You're just excited to get home, man.
I don't get to the airport 4 hours early anymore. I mean, I learned my lesson. I've flown too much at this point to know I ain't got to be there 4 hours early. You know, I could arrive an hour and a half early, go through security, and still wait about 20 minutes on the plane. Let's go.
Still wait about 20 minutes on the plane. So I think that I just kind of have some PTSD. Like once I missed the flight, and like that
you
was
missed the flight before.
Yeah, it was a giant pain in the ass. So like now I feel like I'm trying to overcorrect and like just be and like worst case scenario, like I'll just stop at a coffee shop. I'll just like rot like scrolling or something like that, or I'll do some work. But damn, man, you love flying out early.
And like, then I don't go straight to Green Bay.
Oh, you have a layover?
No.
You go to Milwaukee?
No, I fly to Chicago.
Why?
And get a rental and drive 3 hours to Green Bay.
To Chicago?
Yeah. I fly to Chicago.
That's 207 miles, 3 hour and a 30-minute drive.
It'd be 3 hours for me.
So was it more affordable, like not to go to Milwaukee or something, or was like your airport?
My plane tickets were coming up to the like 1,300 and 1,400. You know.
Oh,
and
damn.
Yeah, this way I only spend like $150, $200. You know, get there and $200 to get back. I'll grab a rental since I wanted one anyway, and then just drive in and drive out.
Damn.
I refuse to pay over $1,000 for a flight.
And so is the hotel situation as nice as it was at the Super Bowl this time?
I have no clue. Richie headed that department this time.
He headed the department.
He likes those Airbnbs instead.
Because like TD put us up during the Super Bowl. Damn, man. I was down
crazy.
there, man. And so I was sitting in the lobby with a big bottle of Pellegrino. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh,
the Waldorf Astoria.
I felt too bougie
water
though.
Down at the damn
like I deserve it.
I was eating like a variety of man. I was feeling bougie during that experience. But anyway, I'm feeling somewhat envious that the boys will be at the draft, but have no fear. Fourth and Forever will be continuing, and we will be checking in with our boys tomorrow while they're live at Radio Row, from what I understand. But I'll tell you what, there are quite a bit of teams that are shopping their first round picks, specifically the first 3 of 4 teams, of course, outside of the Tennessee Titans. But it sounds like the Giants, the Patriots, and the Cleveland Browns are all taking calls on pick 2, 3, and even 4. If there was any team here that we see in front of us who do we think is going to be the team that is likely going to entertain this call? I'm going to start off with Colby, especially since his favorite team is listed on these 3 potential.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see as many trades as people are talking about. And the people are saying, oh, we're going to see so many trades this year. We're going to see so many people moving around because so many reports are coming out that so many teams are willing to trade down. Well, okay, teams are willing to trade down. I think pretty much every single team here in the first round would be willing to trade down if the package was right. But in order to trade down, you also need somebody that is going to be willing to trade up. And given this draft, given the fact that to me, there's only really 4 blue chip players, there's not going to be a lot of teams that are going to want to trade up, given how the board is expected to fall, given the talent that is in this draft class. So to me, I think the team that's most likely to move, if they really end up doing so, is going to be pick 2, because you're going to have so many guys still left on the board. You're going to have Abdul Carter. You're going to have Travis Hunter. You're going to have Ashton Jeanty. You're going to be able to go and get that blue chip player, a true difference maker for you, whether it's on the offensive or defensive side of the football. I don't think that picks 3, picks 4 are going to be moved. But yeah, honestly, I don't think there's going to be as many trading here as people think. But I think if there is a change, there is a trade down from picks 2, 3, and 4, it's going to come from the Cleveland Browns at 2.
It's going to come from the Cleveland Browns. It's funny because I feel like everybody has Cam Ward cemented at number 1. I just so happen to have Travis Hunter cemented at number 2 to the Cleveland Browns, Abdul Carter to the Giants, and then the Patriots too. So are you not so much wanting to entertain the Patriots moving down anymore?
Well, I would love the Patriots. Right, I would love the Patriots to trade down. I think that that's the perfect case scenario for them, because you trade down, you get extra draft capital. Where exactly do they trade down? I don't know. I would say it's probably somewhere still in the top 10. Then you could go with Armand Membu. You could go with a Will Campbell. You can entertain an Ashton Jeanty. You can entertain a Tyler Warren. There's so many guys that you can now start to entertain because you got that extra 2nd or 3rd round pick. Maybe depending on where exactly you trade down, you get a 2026 first round pick also. And I think next year's draft picks are going to be much more valuable because it's going to be a significantly better draft class. But, like I said, Dan, it's not just, hey, I'm a team that wants to trade down. You have to have the other half of that. You need someone who's going to be willing to trade up with you. You need that partner. And looking at number 4, because I agree with you, I do think that Abdul Carter, I do think that Travis Hunter, they're both going to go before that 4th overall pick for the Patriots. So who's trading up at number 4 with the Patriots, and who are they trading up for? Because realistically, I think that player's going to fall. So I don't know. I think if there's a call that presents itself for the Patriots, they will trade down. There was a rumor floated out there that if Abdul Carter does fall to 4, that the Philadelphia Eagles would have interest in trading up to number 4 with the Patriots. That would be a trade up I don't think we've ever seen. Going from 32 to 4, I don't think that's something we've ever seen in the NFL before. So that would be interesting. I don't know how much truth there is behind that report, but that is something that was thrown out there. But I just don't see any player that's going to be left at 4. If Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter go, that's going to be willing to trade up for. What's the purpose?
Yeah, you would need a shocker, right? Like the Browns, for example, selecting Shedeur Sanders or something at 2.
Yeah.
That would probably have to happen in order for Abdul to fall that way. TD, thoughts on this? If any team listed below were to trade down, which one is going to do it?
Anybody who want to do it with the Dolphins so we can get Shedeur. No, if any team's going to trade down, it probably would be the Patriots trying to acquire additional assets. That to me, that would be perfect for them because they've already made, to me, they're one of the teams that's winning the all season. Yeah, they had the money. Of course they are. Yeah, but they did their job with the money. It's not like they were wasting the money. They really built their team, and they can use some really good draft picks now to make sure that they have a good youth core to the team as well. Browns can move down too. They got to start preparing for the future, but I don't see it because they haven't purged the roster enough to make you put it like this. The Browns are like the Dolphins, but they're not purging the roster like we have.
Yeah.
They're trying to keep people. We were letting people go. Okay. And the Giants, they're playing for their life. So They're trying to get a player who can contribute day one. I would give it to the Patriots, man.
It's funny you say that about the Cleveland Browns because yes, of course, they do have a lot of question marks regarding that team by itself. But surprisingly enough, I do like the Joe Flacco edition. And so I really do. And you look at the Cleveland Browns roster, right? They still have a very good defense. It's on paper. Solid defensive line, very good secondary. When healthy, one of the best offensive line units in the NFL. Are the Browns going to be that bad this year? That's my question. Say that they could stay healthy, because I feel like you talk to anybody and they're just automatically donning them a 4 to 5 win team. But outside of the quarterback position, and maybe they could be looking for at least a little bit more wide receiver help. Perhaps they could find somebody in the second or the third. Are the Browns going to be as bad as everyone thinks that they are, Colby?
Who's their starting quarterback week 1? That's my question.
Yeah.
Is it Joe Flacco? Is that what's
Probably
projected right now? If it's Joe Flacco, I think they're going to be better than people expected. I mean, back in, 2023, Joe Flacco came off the couch, mid-season and won them games, got them to the playoffs. I mean, Joe Flacco was the reason that they got to the playoffs. Now give this guy an entire offseason. I think that Kevin Stefanski can come back. He can show us what he was a couple of years ago when he was coach of the year. He can cook something up there with Joe Flacco. I think if Deshaun Watson is starting for them and starts for them at any point this season, that's when they're cooked. I think the Browns have shown when they stick with Deshaun Watson, that's when this team is cooked. That's when they struggle. But when they go with Joe Flacco, they go a different route at quarterback, they can actually piece together some wins. So I'm not saying they're going to be a playoff team. I'm not going to say that they're going to be a true contender, but I think pinning them as a 4-5 win team, as long as Deshaun Watson is not taking snaps for you, I think they're going to be better than people expect.
And so a lot of people have them at 3-4 wins.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
I feel like 7 to 8 actually makes sense, right? Last year, even when Cleveland was a dumpster fire, they still ended up finessing a couple of wins from the AFC North, right? Because that division is built to compete with each other. Here's something. If I'm the Cleveland Browns, ooh, man, listen, I just come up with TikTok ideas when I'm on this show. If I'm the Cleveland Browns with the offensive line that they have, do you know who I'm selecting at number 2? I'm taking Ashton Jeanty. I'm taking Ashton Jeanty at number 2. Crazy take. Crazy
over
take.
Abdul Carter?
Yeah, you already have Myles Garrett. Yeah, you already have Myles Garrett. But
that's why Travis Hunter makes more sense for them. Travis Hunter makes more sense than Abdul Carter.
Yeah.
So Hunter does, but this Browns team was at its most dangerous when Nick Chubb was in his prime, right? But then obviously right after the injury, he wasn't the same. Still looking for a new team right now. Ashton Jeanty at number 2, if they really wanted to compete this year with Flacco, I think would have the best bang for your buck. I'd say the largest needle mover that could potentially save Stefanski's job. Thoughts on that, boys? Jeanty at number 2 would be the most productive pick for the Cleveland Browns.
No, I disagree.
Yeah.
I would Kobe on this one. Travis Hunter would be the most productive, but you got to go Abdul Carter, man. That 1-2 punch on defense.
I disagree with that too, though.
Crazy. Why?
It would be crazy. It'd be crazy. It would be one of the best, probably the best edge duo in the entire National Football League. And TD, it wouldn't be a wrong pick, right? Because getting to the quarterback, having a good pass rush is very valuable in the league. If you're able to disrupt opposing quarterbacks, there's a lot of value to that. We've seen in 2 Super Bowls that the only way to stop Patrick Mahomes is to put that pressure on him. But you can get a guy in Travis Hunter who's going to give you help at wide receiver, which they really, really need, but he's also going to give you help at cornerback, which they also really, really need. You look at wide receiver and cornerback, that's 2 of the biggest needs right now for the Cleveland Browns. So I think what you can do here is you can perfectly match up best player available along with biggest need for your team and fill 2 needs at the same time. Ashton Jeanty would make a lot of sense for the Cleveland Browns if, let's say, they ultimately do end up trading down a few spots, but this is a loaded running back core. You can get a guy that, like I said, is the Heisman Trophy winner, a true blue chip player, and is going to give you a difference maker on both sides of the football. I'm telling you, with Kevin Stefanski, Travis Hunter to the Cleveland Browns makes the most sense.
Oh. And so what do you think, TD?
Yeah, like I
Most
said,
sense to the Cleveland Browns.
I get what you're saying. Now, if he's playing both sides of the football, then I'm not going to push back on that. But man, Abdul Carter, like I said, I'm not passing that up. I don't care if I got Miles, how much longer, and he's going to be getting older. And matter of fact, why wouldn't I have potentially two of the best pass rushers in the entire NFL for the next 4 to 5 years? I mean, it's like perfect. And then when Miles retires, then Abdul can get the big deal. I just see like the perfect alignment and succession and learning from him. You want to cater to that pick by getting them with the best to try to become the best. That would be phenomenal, man. And guess what? Cleveland all over the place, but they would stay alive because a guy like that with pairing those two together, the defense can really keep them in a lot of games. So yeah, I see it different, but I'm nothing wrong with the other way.
Dan,
Yeah.
but before we move on from this graphic, I'm going to give you a dark horse team real quick.
Talk to me.
I think a team that could trade down is not 2, 3, or 4. I would look at a team like the Minnesota Vikings because the board isn't going to fall the way. I'm telling you this right now. Day one, the board's not going to fall the way that everybody thinks. And the Minnesota Vikings, they only have 4 picks. I can see them totally trading out of the first round, a team looking to double dip in the first, and now they pick up extra draft capital in the top 100. I'm telling you, that pick there at 24 with Minnesota, Minnesota's not going to be picking there.
And so you have to look at like all draft capital, specifically teams with 6 picks. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers come to mind, sort of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like teams that have 6 and below are likely going to be moving down at some point during that process. It's funny you say with the Minnesota Vikings because that's actually been a trade partner, I think, for the Buffalo Bills. So to potentially move up to, but only for selected players, right? Like say that we have to move up, it better be for Kenneth Grant. It better be for Kenneth Grant. And say that we trade up further than 24, it better be because Will Johnson has fallen more than anyone predicted in the first place. There's only a couple of players that I would feel comfortable moving up that significantly for. Everything else, I love the second round. I love the talent that is associated with each and every single one of them. But it's interesting. And I feel like that we have an sort of an so random topic or in Richie's impromptu, if you will. Like we have seen some mock drafts, right, from the variety of our fan bases. And there's probably a couple of names you see on these mock drafts that just make your blood boil, that make your skin crawl. And you're like, dude, that guy is not the answer. He is not a scheme fit for this team. Who are some players that are often being mocked to your favorite team that would literally piss you off if your team ultimately ended up drafting them? For me, and so I'll start off with a couple of them. And it has nothing to do with the style of play. It has nothing to do with the fact that I think that they are going to be bad players in the NFL. I think they're going to be great players, but they're just not the scheme fit in which that I think Buffalo is looking for. Specifically, I regularly see the Buffalo Bills mock drafting a Walter Nolan and or a Derek Harmon. Like those guys are true 3-tech defensive tackles. Sure, they can play the nose tackle / 1-tech. But for me, we need a true nose tackle that can open up the rest of the defensive line. I'm sure we could ask them to play the 1-tech position, but I just think that that's a gamble, that's something that we would need to establish a learning curve for those players to be day one contributors. And we don't have time for that. Like we need somebody that could step in and whatnot better than targeting somebody that has been asked to do that exact position all the way in college. What I'm trying to do is shorten that learning curve. Same thing with wide receivers like Luther Burden / Igbuka as well, right out of Ohio State. Solid players, right? But they're slot receivers. Yes, some of them had experience off to the outside. However, they are not true perimeter wide receivers. I truly, truly, truly want scheme fits for this Buffalo Bills team and limit that learning curve / developmental period? Colby, players that you would generally be pissed off if the New England Patriots drafted at any point during the draft.
Well, look, I mean, more so I'm looking at like the first round, because in rounds 2, 3, I think it's kind of like pick your poison type of thing. Like what's your specific taste? So when I'm looking in round 1, you're at pick 4, right? So you have pretty much the entire draft outside of, about 3 players. You have the entire draft to pick from. So I wouldn't really be, I want to say, pissed if they took these players, but I definitely don't agree with the direction. There's 2 different players that I've seen mocked there at 4. Number 1 is Ashton Jeanty. Now, yes, Ashton Jeanty is the best running back in this class. I consider him a blue chip player. I think he's going to be a top 10 running back in the league. He's a 3-down player between his receiving threat, what he does as a rusher, of course. He's really good at forcing missed tackles, which is what you need from a running back. But the Patriots have really bad offensive line struggles. They've had that for the last 2 years. They've had the worst offensive line in the league for the last 2 years. One thing we know about running backs is that as good as you are, you need blockers up front. Look at Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley did not move the needle for the New York Giants during his time there. But then he goes to the Philadelphia Eagles and in year 1 should have broken the single season rushing record, right? Like he really transformed that team because they have the best offensive line in the league. So I don't understand Ashton Jeanty at 4. The Patriots have Ramondre Stevenson. Yes, I'm not saying he's as good as Ashton Jeanty, but he's still a good running back in this league. He just needs that offensive line. The Patriots gave him a multi-year deal last offseason. They signed Antonio Gibson, a good complimentary back, who also they signed to a multi-year deal last offseason. And again, this is a very good running back class. This is a stacked running back class. For the team like the Patriots, who have so many more needs than running back, I wouldn't go running back on the first. And the other one is Armand Membu. Now, this one might be a little bit wild because, again, I've been somebody who's been pushing this narrative of going offensive line, especially early on. But Armand Membu is a right tackle. The Patriots are selecting a guy at 4. That is a guy that you need to be a difference maker year 1. They signed Morgan Moses, a veteran right tackle who is going to start for them based off of the guaranteed money they gave him for at least 1 to 2 years. So Armand Membu would have to stay put back for about a year or 2 with your 4th overall pick. That doesn't seem like a good value. If you want a developmental right tackle, get the guy in round 3. 4, round 5, in the later drafts as an undrafted free agent. I don't like the idea of also trying to put Armand Membu from the right side over to the left side. If you want a left tackle, go get a left tackle. If you want a right tackle, go get a right tackle. Stop trying to do the pretty magic tricks, right? So those are the 2 players for me.
And so what about you, TD? And so are there any players that you've seen mock drafted to the Miami Dolphins where you're just like, no, absolutely not?
Everybody understands the assignment in Miami. I haven't seen anybody that's like, oh my gosh, why do they have it? No. We are very specific in what we want to do. Defensive tackle, cornerback, or safety, or in offensive lineman. And everybody's mock has one of those guys, having a little bit of fun. Oh, they're going quarterback. You know how I feel about that. So that's the one thing I can tell you in Dolphins community as of late. No, we haven't had that issue. There's nobody being mocked where we scoff at. So, and I like this. This is rare. So I'm going to probably feel good no matter what we do in the draft.
No matter. And since Richie is not here, like what would be a dumb decision for the New York Jets?
To go tight end?
It's only going to listen, Richie loves Tyler Warren. Loves Tyler Warren for that overall team. Like that is his draft crush, I would say, is Tyler Warren.
I have a hot take. I would say cornerback.
Who?
I would say cornerback. Like that's a hot take. And I understand the relation of cornerback back to the New York Jets, right? So I understand the idea behind it. But to pick a cornerback in the top 10 when you have Sauce Gardner as your cornerback 1, you've got some guys behind him already too. Like I think that team just needs more so depth at cornerback than they do a number 1 guy per se, or really even a number 2. So I think that's something they can address in rounds 2. They can address in rounds 3. I think they need a day 1 impactful player in round 1. If anything, go safety. I think Malachi Starks would make more sense for that team than to go cornerback. So for me, I would say cornerback doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
So dare I say QB as well. And so I don't think that they will, right? But say that like we see Aaron Glenn just like roll the dice on a quarterback right now.
I
don't
hope
know.
they do that, Dan.
Yeah.
It's a team in the NFC East.
Right.
I hope they do
Like, say
that.
they shock the world and take Shador Sanders or something like that,
Jackson Dart, man, watch the tape.
or Jackson Dart, for example, or like a Tyler Shuck. It's interesting for the New York Jets, man. We're gonna have to see, folks. We ask you to smash the like button as you are coming in. It's the easiest way to show love over on the Roundtable Sports Network. We are live Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. EST, bringing you all of the NFL news, rumors around your favorite professional sports organization. I'll tell you what, it sounds like the 49ers had some sort of interest in Davante Adams during free agency, and they were entertaining an acquisition. And it's interesting because obviously they need a Deebo Samuel, or so they said goodbye to Deebo Samuel, and they are sitting on a lot of picks this year. So San Francisco has also been rumored that they could be massive movers in the NFL draft at any given day. What does this tell you about this? Like, what does this tell you? Does this kind of give us a hint of where San Francisco may be trying to prioritize their draft strategy? TD, talk to me.
Well, obviously that means they were looking for help at the wide receiver position, but when he said they tried to lowball him in free agency, it's hard to look at this any deeper than you need to, because here's why. Anybody who want to take a shot, but it's okay if you don't, you lowball. If they would have got Davante Adams, though, that would have been massive for the 49ers. But I'll say this, man. The 49ers, I feel like they're a team that needs to rebuild. They're not going to. They're going to stretch this out, and they're going to pay Purdy. And 3 years from now, they're going to be in a whole nother reset because of it. But lowballing Davante Adams, what do you want them to do? What money do they have? I mean, do they have wads of cash sitting around? No. So they were trying to see if he was intrigued by the potential of coming to the 49ers at a cheap price to help him try to get over the hump.
And so what about you, Colby? So what is this potential acquisition tell you about what the 49ers might be doing during the draft?
Well, I've been saying for a while that I think the San Francisco 49ers, they're not in this Super Bowl era anymore, right? They've put in so much money and so much draft capital dating back to that Jimmy G trade, which I think was back in 2017. And they've been one of the best teams in the league year after year after year. Since then, they've been one of the most dominant teams offensively and defensively, one of the best coached teams overall since 2017. But how many Super Bowls do they have to show for it? Yes, they went to two, right? 2 or 3. But how many did they win? They didn't win any. And from what's been reported, ownership has kind of said, I want to delegate my money elsewhere, because clearly delegating my money to the football team has not brought a championship back to this organization, and it's not worth it. So I don't think that we're going to see the 49ers be as dominant as they've been for a while now. And I think they lowballed him too, because one, they understand the position they're in. But to be quite honest too, where is Davante Adams at this point in his career? Because I really like the addition for the Rams. I think the Rams are going to use him really, really well with the amount of motion that they run. I think he's a really good complementary piece with Puka Nacua. But they're giving him about $23 million AAV with $26 million guaranteed. I don't think Davante Adams is worth that. I think he still has some left in the tank, but he's not worth that, to where he felt disrespected from what he said by the 49ers offer. I think the 49ers probably offered him somewhere between $12 to $15 million average annual value. And he said, no, I'm going to go to the team that offers me the most money. Davante Adams just screams the type of player to where he's going to go to the place that he feels most respected. And when I say most respected, I mean the team that offers him the most money.
And hence he ended up landing on the LA Rams. But I'll tell you what, it's funny because a lot of things are going on in San Francisco. A lot of things are going on in San Francisco right now. One of which in particular was the fact that George Kittle and the San Francisco 49ers are very far apart on a potential contract extension. He did not show up to voluntary workouts, in which that are happening all across the league right now. And there's some contract drama when it all comes to the foresight. Now, it's funny because Brock Purdy, who was also in conversations with the 49ers on a potential contract extension, he ended up attending. So is George Kittle potentially on the move? Or is George Kittle potentially a holdout candidate for the 2025 NFL season, or at the very least, a training camp portion of said offseason? Colby, talk to me.
I definitely think he's a holdout candidate. Like right now, I'm not freaking out because it's like, oh, he didn't go to voluntary workouts. Veterans usually don't, especially the best veterans. The guys that have been in that organization for years, they usually don't attend these things. So I think everybody's freaking out given the contract, but I'm not freaking out just yet. I'm freaking out more so, does he show up to training camp or not? That's when it matters. But they got more than enough time. They have months to be able to make a contract work by then. And ultimately, I think they will. I think that George Kittle deserves to be paid as one of the top 3 highest paid tight ends in the league. And we saw Trey McBride from the Cardinals get paid as the highest tight end this offseason. He's making about $19 million AAV. I could see George Kittle making about $20 million AAV, and I think that would make a ton of sense for him. I think he's one of the best well-rounded tight ends in this league, if not the best well-rounded tight end in this league, from his ability and upside as a receiving threat, what he does as a blocker. He stays on the field. He's tough as nails. And to be completely honest with you, if they're going to keep running this back with Purdy, they missed out on Davante Adams. They need somebody on that field who's going to be a difference maker. They need as many offensive weapons on that field to make Purdy look good, if that's what they're going to do, if that's the route that they're going to take at quarterback, because we know that Purdy is not the type of quarterback that is going to excel the offense past his limitation. He needs those weapons. So I'm not freaking out. I think a deal is going to get done because a deal has to get done for the 49ers.
A deal has to get done for the 49ers. TD, thoughts on this? Is this something that we should just overlook? It's no big deal. It'll make George Kittle happy. Or is he potentially on the move? Or is he going to be a holdout candidate for the 2025 NFL season?
He needs to be gone.
Oh.
Like I said in the last question, they need to move on. They need to set up the next team, but they're not because of Purdy, and they're going to pay him, and they're going to keep down this crazy road like he's the answer. He's not. San Francisco is the epitome of always having a good team, but a quarterback that's good enough not to be good enough. And at what point do you realize that and say, all right, let me find the next one? See, sometimes you get so scared at finding the next guy and they're bad that you want to stick with the guy that's good enough not to be good enough because he makes you look good as a team and always competitive. But to what end? Like, who's going after a Super Bowl? Like, Baltimore know they got a chance every year. The Buffalo Bills know they got a chance every year. The Eagles, obviously the Chiefs, the Bengals, a lot of these teams feel like every single year they got a chance because they don't have a quarterback that's good enough not to be good enough. They got one of the premier quarterbacks in the league. So ship this stuff off and get your picks, man. Start building this right and trade Purdy and look for your next quarterback. It's that simple, but they won't. And so they'll figure out a way to make Kittle happy, and they'll move forward with the same status quo.
Oh, I like that. I like that indeed. All right, last topic today, folks. Shorter show today because TD needs to start packing so he can get to Green Bay and help us out. The face of the NFL. And that just so happens to be Jalen Hurts, at least allegedly. He believes that since he was named Super Bowl MVP, that he is the face of the NFL. And Eagles QB Jalen Hurts, no, but when you're the MVP of the Super Bowl, you are the face of the NFL.
That's bold.
I have to ask you guys this, right? Because as many would say it's Patrick Mahomes, as many would say it's Josh Allen, since he is the MVP of the league.
No.
I don't know who's saying Josh Allen.
All right. So we won't argue over semantics right now. But would you agree that Jalen Hurts is the face of the NFL? If not, who is the face of the NFL? In chat, please let us know who it is. TD, who's the face of the NFL right now?
I gotta think, man. But
you gotta think.
You want to know? Yeah, I actually do.
Really?
It's not. Mahomes isn't the face of the NFL. He's a villain. A good villain. I don't know why he's a villain, but he's a villain. So he's not the face.
But that's
the
still
face.
face.
No. Like, no. Like, you still want it to be the positive guy that you can't hate on. And I get what you're saying. Obviously, Mahomes is probably the biggest name in the league. But you want to know something? You know who I think the face of the NFL is right now?
Tom Brady?
No, it hasn't been solidified, but he's ripe for everybody to start owning the fact that he is, especially if he balls out this year. Jaden Daniels.
Oh.
I think he's he's not the face, but he about to be there. But he's going to be prime this year. He can go right into that category if he does something special. But it's hard to name an official face of the league outside of that.
Wow, I can't believe we're having this discussion right now. I actually thought that like we were all just going to agree on the same thing, and this was going to be a 30-second debate, and we were going to be done. It's literally Patrick Mahomes. I mean, you could say he's a villain, right? He's a villain, so he's not the face of the league. Okay. Everybody hated Brady because of how good he was. They didn't hate him for any real reason. They hated him because he beat your team every single time and went to the Super Bowl every single year and won the Super Bowl every single year. I don't care how much you hated him. He was still the face of the league. And currently, right now, that is Patrick Mahomes. Whether you like it or not, I don't like it, but it is the truth. He is the face of the league. And Jalen Hurts saying that he's the face of the league because he went to the Super Bowl and he's Super Bowl MVP. You weren't the best player in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts wasn't even the second best player in the Super Bowl. He didn't deserve Super Bowl MVP. He had some good runs. He had some key plays for sure. But, man, give me Josh Sweat, Super Bowl MVP. But when it's not clear-cut as day, you're not making a game-saving interception like Malcolm Butler in Super Bowl 49, they tend to just give it to the quarterback. No, Josh Sweat should have had MVP. Jalen Hurts is not the face of the NFL. He's taken a step back over the last few years. He's not even a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. To say that he is the face of the league is just him trying to boost his confidence right now.
Well, I disagree with this Brady take. People didn't really hate Brady.
Oh, as a Patriots fan, I highly disagree.
I mean, it might be a few teams, but the league in general, like, people just started to understand his greatness and watch it. Like, it's just like Jordan. Who hated Jordan? It wasn't a lot of people that, like, of course, if you're going up against him, but no, like, if you're not a division rival, or one of the other 2 teams that get beat by him every year, the rest of the league never really hated him. They actually like watching the greatness. And that's all I'm saying. Mahomes, a lot of people hate him in that team. It's a different type of hate, in my opinion, that Mahomes has than Brady and Jordan had. And this is why I just feel like Mahomes, he's the unofficial face of the league because he's at the top of the mountain. But face of the league, like if I'm going to put a poster board up right now to say the NFL, I don't know if I'm putting Mahomes up to get everybody excited. I don't know.
As a Patriots fan who grew up with everybody getting on me for being a Patriots fan, let me tell you, everybody absolutely hated Brady. Like when the Patriots would go to the Super Bowl, the Patriots would go in the playoffs, you would see those memes come up every single year of who the entire world was voting for. And it was like Patriots fans voting for Tom Brady. The rest of the world voting for whoever the opponent was, right? We needed to come up with multiple stupid, inaccurate cheating scandals, such as not knowing how common sense science class works and how to properly inflate or deflate a football to try to take away from the greatness of this guy. That's how much people hated Tom Brady.
Okay, it's just weird to me because I was a Dolphin fan. I'm justified to hate him, and I didn't even hate him like that.
You were one of the good
ones.
ones.
Tom Brady. I actually like watching his greatness. I already knew what was going to happen when you got in a big game. But you know what? I got to give it up to Jesse. Jesse just stumped us all. Jesse in the chat just stumped us all, and he actually easily named the face of the league.
It's easily Taylor Swift
Easy.
is the face of the league. That
I
is
feel
a
like
hot take.
last year. I feel like she's died down, to be honest with you. I feel like that whole thing has died down. Like, she was the face of the league for 2020. What was that? 2023? But I feel like it's died down. I feel like that storyline's not as big, especially because Travis Kelce's not as big. Like, Travis Kelce's not as good. He's not making as many plays. So the narrative doesn't fit as much when he's kind of not in the forefront anymore of the league.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Folks, please sound off in the comments and let us know your thoughts as always. But that's going to have to do it for another edition of your favorite daily NFL news and rumor show, Fourth and Forever, brought to you by the Roundtable Sports Network. Colby, what would you like to say to our audience before we send them off?
Hey, man, as always, guys, appreciate you for tuning in here at Third and Sometimes. I might fill in tomorrow. I don't know. It's kind of like a day-by-day thing. Richard will text me, and he'll be like, hey, yo. So, you know.
It sounds like you will.
Fourth and Forever. Or
sounds like you will, and we need one more person to fill in.
Oh, well, look at that, man. You know, look at that. It sounds like Dan knows things I don't. So, I'm finding out on the spot, man. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode of Third and Sometimes. I can't wait. These are some of my favorite times every single week, man. Talking about some of the big topics in the league, not having to talk about the Patriots 24/7. Let me tell you, it's like a getaway. It's like my home away from home. I like it.
And I'll be watching you. I'll be watching you tomorrow, Kobe, because I'll be on the plane or on the road during the show. But yeah, another great one in the books. We'll be giving live coverage from the draft. Shout out to King Lowski in the chat. I see you in here, man. Salute to you, brother. But outside of that, love y'all. Appreciate y'all as always.
Oh man, Safe Travels TV.
TV. Oh man.
TD. Safe Travels, my friend. We look forward to seeing all the content that y'all are putting out in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Guys, thank you so much again. Please smash that like button for us, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, and as always, we will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place.